Okay, the Odell Beckham Jr. / Josh Norman. There's a backstory to this that actually starts with Rodney Harrison and the NBC Football Night in America pregame show on Sunday night. And the basics of this are that Rodney Harrison was a safety, and he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. Rodney Harrison was one of the greatest to ever play the game, one of the hardest hitting, one of the most penalized. I mean, the guy was just a beast, as they say, in inside circles. Tough as they come. Just a great player. Started with the San Diego Chargers and ended with the New England Patriots. And the past 2 or 3 weeks on that Sunday night NBC pregame show, Rodney Harrison and Josh Norman, the cornerback, number 24 for the Carolina Panthers, have had a little back and forth involving a wide receiver for the Atlanta Falcons named Julio Jones. And it all started with Rodney Harrison suggesting that Josh Norman not as good as Josh Norman thinks he is, but he's going to be if he keeps his head on the straight and narrow. Now, I don't want to get into too much of this, but the point is there's been a back and forth. Rodney Harrison dealing with Josh Norman. There's a generational difference there. Really, their ages are not that great, but there's still a generational difference. Harrison has one way of playing the game, and these young guys have another way. Harrison has one way of respecting the game, and these young guys a different way. And Harrison has been warning Norman, hey, you know what? You're going to be good, but you're not that good yet. I was you, bud. I was you. I know. I've been where you are. I've made the mistakes you're making. Don't get so cocky off the bat here. You got a long way to go, pal. And Norman's been saying, who are you? You're lousy at your job. I couldn't care less what you say about me, Harrison. Screw you. Essentially, those are paraphrased. So that's a backstory that just involves Norman. So Norman's had his talent questioned. He's been talked down to by a vet and a retired player who is reputed to be among the best. Then you bring in this Odell Beckham situation on top of that. The only reason this backstory with NBC and Rodney Harrison is relevant is that it's already amped Norman up. And Norman already thinks that all eyes are on him because of the back and forth he's had with Rodney Harrison on this Sunday night NBC show. Now we get to this game that happened on Sunday. And we're learning all kinds of things. If you don't know, basically Beckham lost his cool the whole game and engaged in behavior that many say he should have been thrown out of the game after the second incident. There should have been penalties. He should have been thrown out, should have been expelled, suspended for 1 or 2 games, but nothing happened during the game. There were penalty flags thrown, but the coach, Coughlin, didn't sit him down, didn't bench him, and the referees didn't throw him out of the game. Josh Norman, number 24 for the Panthers, was judged to be a guilty party too, but nowhere near as out of bounds and over the top as Beckham was. And the real coup de grace for Beckham was in the third, maybe the fourth quarter. Beckham is a decoy wide receiver on a running play to the running back Shane Vereen, and after the play is over, Beckham doubles back and launches himself helmet to helmet into the head of Josh Norman, right there in the ear hole. No penalty was called. It was head hunting. I mean, it was blatant what it was. Should have been thrown out of the game at that point. 15-yard penalty, you name it, nothing happened. Okay, so Beckham gets suspended. They announced the suspension yesterday, 1 game. He can appeal. The appeal's going to be tomorrow. The Beckham New York Giants PR machine has gotten into gear since the suspension was announced. And the first thing that came out was, well, hey, you know what? The Panthers are not innocent players here. You know what the Panthers did? They brought a baseball bat or 2 out to the pregame. And they were saying the baseball bat's part of the way they fire themselves up, saying, bring the wood. Well, you don't take a baseball bat out and you don't start taunting the other team with a baseball bat. And they were swinging the bat around. They didn't threaten anybody with it, but just the very fact that they're out there swinging a baseball bat, black bat, relevant too. You can't say the color of the bat matters, folks. It does. In our culture today, it's a black bat. It matters. And then the media, the sports writers also, well, wait a minute now. That still doesn't excuse what Beckham did. So then the Giants and Beckham PR machine got into further gear.